The grand hall of the imperial palace stretched far beyond what the eye could see. Towering crystal columns rose to support a ceiling, painted with the conquered galaxies of the Kaldarian Empire. Emperor Tarek sat on his throne, bored. He had ruled for over 200 years, and rarely heard news that surprised him anymore. Commander June walked slowly toward the throne. He had served in the Imperial fleet for 50 years, rising through the ranks because of his careful attention to detail. Today his usually calm face showed worry. "Your Majesty," June bowed deeply, his blue uniform catching the light from the crystal walls. "Our scout vessels have detected signals from a previously unexamined planet in Sector 7. Emperor Tarek yawned. "Another primitive world discovering radio waves? How tedious." "This one is different, Your Majesty," June said. He touched his wrist device and a hologram appeared between them. A blue and green planet rotated slowly in the air. "The humans of this world, which they call Earth, are advancing at an unusual rate. All species believe they are special," the Emperor said with a dismissive wave of his hand. The 6 fingers on each hand were adorned with rings from conquered worlds. "What makes these humans worthy of my attention?" June moved his fingers, and the hologram changed to show human cities, vehicles, and weapons. In just 100 years, they went from simple ground transportation to visiting their own moon. Our models predicted such advancement should take at least 500 years. For the first time, Emperor Tarek leaned forward slightly. "Interesting, but not concerning. How advanced are their weapons?" "Still primitive by our standards," June admitted. "But their rate of development is what concerns me. They create new technologies faster than any species we have encountered." The Emperor relaxed again. "The Zithian species also developed quickly. We simply waited until they nearly destroyed themselves in civil war, then took their planets with ease." "Humans are different," said a new voice. Science Director Hana entered the hall. She was shorter than June but walked with confident steps. Her white lab coat stood out against the dark floor as she approached the throne. "I did not summon you, Director Hana," the Emperor said coldly. Hana bowed. "Forgive me, Your Majesty, but when I heard Commander June was reporting on Earth, I felt I needed to share my findings." "Speak then," the Emperor said. Hana stepped forward and took control of the hologram. The image changed to show human DNA strands rotating slowly. "Humans have unusual genetics," she explained. "They can survive in almost any environment. Their bodies adapt to different levels of gravity, radiation, and atmosphere better than any species we know. Physical adaptability is not a threat to our warships," the Emperor said. "It is their minds that truly concern me," Hana continued. She showed scenes of human warfare throughout history. Humans have been fighting each other constantly. While other species typically have long periods of peace between conflicts, humans never stop developing new weapons. June nodded. "Their entire history is filled with warfare. They fight over territory, resources, beliefs, and sometimes for reasons that make little sense to us." The Emperor laughed. "They waste energy fighting themselves? This only makes our eventual conquest easier." Hana's face grew more serious. "Their constant fighting has given them something unique, Your Majesty. They think differently. They solve problems in ways our strategic computers cannot predict. When faced with superior force, they develop unexpected tactics." Emperor Tarek stood up from his throne. He was nearly twice as tall as June and Hana, his scale-covered skin shimmering with blue and green patterns. "The Kaldarian Empire has ruled this arm of the galaxy for 10,000 years. We have conquered over 300 species. None have ever challenged our dominance. These humans will be no different." He walked down the steps from his throne and looked more closely at the hologram of Earth. "They have not even unified their planet. They are divided into hundreds of territories they call countries. They fight over invisible lines on their own world. Such primitive thinking." "That is another unusual trait," June said. "They remain divided, yet they can unite quickly when faced with external threats. Our simulations suggest that if they detected us, they would form a global alliance within days." The Emperor turned away from the hologram. They will never detect us unless we wish it. Add them to the observation list. Low priority, Your Majesty, Hana spoke up again. I believe we should place them in the high priority category. My preliminary studies. Your studies are noted, Director. The Emperor cut her off. But the decision is made. Low priority. We have more important matters to attend to in the Centauri systems. Hana and June exchanged worried glances as the Emperor returned to his throne. Is there anything else to report? The Emperor asked, clearly ready to end the discussion. June bowed again. No, Your Majesty. We will add Earth to the observation list as ordered. Good. You are dismissed. June and Hana walked out of the grand hall together. The massive doors closed behind them with a heavy sound that echoed through the corridor. He refuses to see the warning signs, Hana whispered when they were alone. June looked around to make sure no Imperial guards were nearby. I know. I have studied hundreds of species during my career. None of them make me feel uneasy like these humans do. Did you see the way they adapted their weapons during what they call their world wars? Hana asked. They went from basic flying machines to jets that could break the sound barrier in less than 30 years. Our models predicted such advancement would take at least 2 centuries. June nodded. And their space program. They reached their moon using technology that should have failed. They succeeded through determination and improvisation. They walked in silence for a moment before Hana spoke again. The Emperor has made his decision. We must follow his orders. Officially, yes, June said quietly. But nothing prevents us from continuing our studies. We should prepare for all possibilities. What are you suggesting? Hana asked, though she already knew the answer. I will station additional scout ships near Earth, for observation only, of course, and I will continue my research into human adaptability and problem solving, Hana added, for scientific purposes only. They reached the end of the corridor where they would go their separate ways, June to the Fleet Command Center and Hana to her research laboratory. For the Empire's sake, June said, we must be prepared if the Emperor's dismissal proves to be a mistake. For the Empire's sake, Hana agreed. As they parted, neither of them knew that the fate of the Caldarian Empire now hung in balance. Three-eyed humans of Earth, still unaware of the vast empire beyond their solar system, continued their rapid development. The clock was ticking on a confrontation that would change the galaxy forever. 5 years passed since the Caldarian Empire first discovered Earth. Hidden among the asteroids between Mars and Jupiter, a Caldarian monitoring station watched the blue planet. The station was disguised to look like just another space rock, but inside it housed advanced technology and a team of 12 observers. Analyst Sung sat at his monitoring desk, his eyes wide as he reviewed the latest data from Earth. He had been assigned to this post as punishment for questioning a superior officer, but now he considered it the most interesting assignment in his career. Kim, come look at this, Sung called to his colleague. Researcher Kim moved from her station to look over Sung's shoulder. Her job was to study human society and behavior, while Sung focused on their technology. What am I looking at? She asked. Sung pointed to his screen. The humans have just tested a new propulsion system. According to our calculations, they are only 8 years away from discovering basic faster-than-light travel principles. Kim shook her head in disbelief. That cannot be right. Our models predicted they would need at least 70 more years to reach that level. The models are wrong about humans, Sung said. They have been wrong since the beginning. Look at this data trend. He showed her a graph with a line that climbed sharply upward. Their weapons technology is advancing at 3 times the rate of any species we have studied, Sung explained. They have moved from basic nuclear weapons to targeted energy systems in just 5 years. Kim returned to her own station and pulled up her research. Their social structures are equally impressive. According to our standard models, a species with this many different groups should be constantly at war with each other. They do fight a lot, Sung pointed out. Yes, but look at how they form alliances, Kim said. They create bonds across genetic, geographic, and ideological lines that should not be possible according to our sociological models. Have you reported this to command? Sung asked. Kim nodded. Many times. The reports go to Science Director Hana, who forwards them to higher levels. But the official classification for Earth remains low-priority observation. Sung was about to respond when an alarm flashed on his control panel. He quickly turned to check the readings. We have an approaching vessel, he announced, his voice tense. Human origin. It appears to be an exploratory ship. Kim rushed to his station. How did they detect us? Our cloaking technology should be far beyond their scanning abilities. Sung worked his controls rapidly, checking all systems. The cloaking is functioning normally, but... He paused, then pointed to a reading. They are not looking for us specifically. They are mapping the asteroid field and detected our energy signature. We should notify command immediately, Kim said. Sung nodded and opened a secure channel to Caldarian Prime. Within minutes, the face of Commander June appeared on the main screen of the observation post. Report, Analyst Sung, June ordered. Sir, a human exploratory vessel has detected our energy signature, Sung explained quickly. They are on an approach vector that will bring them within visual range in approximately 40 minutes. June's expression remained calm, but Sung could see concern in his eyes. Are they showing any aggressive behavior? No, sir, Sung replied. Their approach is cautious. They appear to be curious rather than hostile. June nodded. Continue monitoring. I will consult with the Emperor. The screen went dark. Sung and Kim exchanged worried glances. What do you think will happen? Kim asked. I do not know, Sung admitted. This is first contact. Protocol says we should establish peaceful communication. Meanwhile, on Caldarian Prime, Commander June hurried to the Imperial Palace. He had been expecting this day would come eventually, but not so soon. He had hoped for more time to prepare the Emperor. When June entered the throne room, he found Emperor Tarek already in discussion with Admiral Day, a newly appointed fleet commander who had gained favor with the Emperor. Your Majesty, June bowed. I bring urgent news from the Earth observation post. I know, the Emperor said coldly. Admiral Day has already informed me. A human vessel has discovered our observation post. June glanced at Admiral Day, surprised that she had learned the information before him. Her smug expression told him she had spies in the communication center. Your Majesty, June began carefully, this is an opportunity for peaceful first contact. The humans show no hostile intent. Peaceful contact with primitives? Admiral Day interrupted. Why would we lower ourselves to treat them as equals? Emperor Tarek nodded in agreement. The Admiral is right. Our policy has always been clear. No contact with lesser species unless they can prove their worth. But Your Majesty, June argued, the humans have advanced far more quickly than we anticipated. They may soon develop technology that rivals our own. A peaceful relationship would benefit. Enough, the Emperor's voice echoed through the hall. I have made my decision. The human ship must be destroyed. We cannot risk them learning of our presence yet. Admiral Day smiled. I have already prepared a strike force, Your Majesty. They await your command. June could not believe what he was hearing. Your Majesty, first contact protocols clearly state, protocols are at my discretion. Emperor Tarek cut him off. These humans are nothing. They are not ready to join the galactic community. The Emperor turned to Admiral Day. Destroy the human vessel. Leave no trace. Maintain our secrecy. Admiral Day bowed, deeply. It will be done, Your Majesty. She turned and left the throne room without even glancing at June. The commander stood in shock, unable to believe the Empire would violate one of its most basic principles. Your Majesty, he tried one more time. I strongly advise against this action. If we destroy this ship and the humans discover it was not an accident, they will never know, the Emperor said dismissively. And you would do well to remember your place, Commander June. Your fascination with these humans borders on obsession. Perhaps you need a new assignment. June knew when to retreat. He bowed and left the throne room, his mind racing. He needed to contact Science Director Hana immediately. Back at the observation post, Sung and Kim continued to monitor the approaching human vessel. It was small compared to Kildarian ships, with the name Pathfinder written on its side. Through their scanners, they could see the crew inside, 23 humans all focused on their tasks. "They're sending out a general greeting message," Kim noted. "Basic mathematical sequences followed by simple language patterns, a standard first contact approach. They are more prepared for this moment than our leaders are," Sung said quietly. Suddenly, their sensors detected 3 Kildarian strike ships dropping out of faster-than-light travel nearby, their weapon systems active. "No," Kim whispered in horror. "They wouldn't." Before Sung could respond, the lead strike ship fired. The human vessel had no time to react. The energy beam cut through their hull, and the ship exploded in silence against the backdrop of stars. 23 lives, Sung said, his voice hollow, extinguished for no reason. As the Kildarian strike ships disappeared back into faster-than-light travel, Sung's sensors picked up something the attackers had missed. 2 smaller human vessels, hidden in the shadow of a larger asteroid, had witnessed everything. They powered up their engines and quietly moved away, heading back toward Earth. The Empire had made its first move. The humans would soon make theirs. The news of the Pathfinder's destruction reached Earth within days. The 2 scout ships that witnessed the attack returned with video evidence and sensor readings. Leaders from all major nations gathered at the United Nations headquarters in Erie, New York, to view the footage. The room was silent as they watched the Kildarian strike ships destroy the Pathfinder without warning. When the recording ended, the silence continued for several long moments. General Sun Woo of South Korea was the first to speak. 23 of our best explorers gone. This was not an accident or a misunderstanding, this was murder. We need to understand what we're facing, said President Garcia. Dr. Lee, what have your teams learned from the sensor data? Dr. Lee stood up and activated the display screen. The attacking ships used energy weapons far beyond our current technology. Their hulls are made of materials we cannot yet create. But most importantly, they can travel faster than light. So we are outmatched, said Prime Minister Choi. Technology, yes, Dr. Lee admitted. But there is good news. The scout ships were able to capture detailed scans of the alien observation post before they left. We believe we can reverse engineer some of their technology. How long will that take? Asked General Sun Woo. Normally decades, Dr. Lee said. But we've already had research teams working around the clock. With global cooperation, we might see results within months. President Garcia stood up. Then global cooperation is what we need. I propose the formation of the Terran Defense Alliance. All nations, all resources, focused on one goal, protecting Earth. The vote was unanimous. For the first time in human history, all nations united under a single banner. 6 months later, Captain Jin stood on the bridge of the TDA flagship Retribution. It was the first of Earth's new warships, built using technology reverse-engineered from the Kildarian observation post. 20 more ships were under construction in orbital shipyards. Captain, all systems are ready, reported First Officer Yuna. The fleet is assembled and awaiting your command. Jin looked at the main screen showing Earth's first defense fleet. 10 warships, each named after one of the crew members lost on the Pathfinder. Open a channel to all ships, Jin ordered. Channel open, sir. Jin straightened his uniform and faced the camera. This is Captain Jin of the TDA Retribution. Today we launch humanity's first mission beyond our solar system. Our orders are clear. Locate Kildarian outposts, gather intelligence, and show them that humanity will not be intimidated. He paused, looking at each of the faces on his bridge crew. They believe us primitive. They believe us weak. They will learn how gravely they've miscalculated. For the crew of the Pathfinder, for Earth, we will show these aliens what humans are capable of. The response from the fleet was immediate. Determination filled every face. Set course for the coordinates we extracted from the observation post data, Jin ordered. Engage faster-than-light drive. The 10 ships of Earth's first fleet disappeared into the darkness of space, leaving their home behind to take the fight to an enemy that had severely underestimated them. Meanwhile, on Caldarian Prime, Emperor Tarak was growing increasingly frustrated. Reports from outposts on the Empire's frontier told of attacks by unknown ships. 3 monitoring stations had gone silent in the past month. Impossible, he raged as the latest report came in. How could they reach our territory so quickly? Admiral Day stood before the Emperor, her confidence from 6 months ago now replaced with concern. The humans have reverse-engineered our technology from the wreckage of our observation post. They've adapted it for their own use and are improving upon our designs. How is this possible? Demanded the Emperor. Their primitive minds should not be able to understand our technology, let alone improve it. Science Director Hana had been summoned to the meeting. She stepped forward cautiously. As I tried to warn 5 years ago, humans have exceptional problem-solving abilities. They also share knowledge freely among their population, which accelerates their development. Emperor Tarak paced the throne room. I want these human ships destroyed, immediately. I have already sent the 3rd Fleet to intercept them, Admiral Day reported. They will engage the humans near the gas giant in their home system, Jupiter. Our forces outnumber them 10 to 1. The Emperor nodded in satisfaction. Good. This human problem will be solved quickly. 2 days later, Admiral Day stood frozen before the Emperor, her face pale as she delivered news that no Caldarian military leader had ever had to report before. The 3rd Fleet has been defeated, Your Majesty. The Emperor stared at her in disbelief. The entire fleet? How? Half destroyed, half forced to retreat, Admiral Day clarified, her voice hollow. The humans used the gas giant's gravity and radiation belts against us. They deployed tactics our combat computers could not predict. Explain, the Emperor demanded. Admiral Day activated a hologram showing the battle. They used smaller ships as bait, drawing our vessels into the planet's radiation belts where our shields were less effective. Then they attacked with larger ships from multiple angles simultaneously. The hologram showed Caldarian ships surrounded by human vessels that darted in and out of attack range, never staying in one place long enough to be targeted effectively. They don't fight according to any logical pattern, Admiral Day continued. They sacrifice ships to create openings. They use suicide tactics. When cornered, they fight harder instead of surrendering. Commander June, who had been silently observing, spoke up. This is what Director Hana and I tried to warn you about, Your Majesty. Humans do not think like us. Their entire history is filled with warfare against superior forces. The Emperor turned to Science Director Hana. You studied these creatures. How do we defeat them? Hana chose her words carefully. The humans appear to be motivated by the unprovoked attack on their ship. They see it as an act of aggression against their entire species. They are unified in a way they have never been before. I don't care about their motivations, the Emperor snapped. I want solutions. There is one option, Admiral Day said quietly. The Planet Killers. A heavy silence fell over the throne room. The Planet Killers were the Caldarian Empire's most terrifying weapons, capable of destroying an entire world. They had only been used twice in the Empire's 10,000-year history. Emperor Tarak stared at the hologram of the battle, watching as human ships outmaneuvered his fleet using tactics no Caldarian would have considered. His pride had been wounded, his belief in Caldarian superiority shaken. Ready the Planet Killers, he ordered. We will exterminate these humans before they become an even greater threat. Commander June stepped forward. Your Majesty, I must protest. The use of Planet Killers goes against our own laws except in cases of silence, the Emperor roared. These humans have destroyed Imperial warships. They have invaded our territory. I will not allow this challenge to continue. He turned to Admiral Day. Prepare the fleet. We will end this human problem permanently. As June and Hana left the throne room, they exchanged worried glances. He's making another mistake, June whispered. A bigger one this time. What can we do? Hana asked. June looked around to make sure they weren't being observed. I need to contact my sources in the fleet. You should reach out to your human connection. Dr. Park? That would be treason, Hana said, though her voice lacked conviction. The Emperor is going to destroy an entire species because of his wounded pride, June replied. Sometimes loyalty to the Empire means saving it from itself. As they parted ways, neither could have imagined how drastically the balance of power was about to shift. Science Director Hana sat alone in her private laboratory, her hand hovering over the communication device. What she was about to do was treason. The penalty was death. But the alternative, letting an entire species be wiped out because of the Emperor's pride, seemed far worse. She activated the secure channel she had established months ago. "Dr. Park, are you there?" she asked quietly. After a moment, the familiar face of Dr. Minju Park appeared on her screen. He was a human scientist who had been studying the Kildarian language and technology from the data recovered from the observation post. "Director Hana," Dr. Park nodded in greeting. "I was beginning to worry. It's been weeks since your last contact. I have little time," Hana said, glancing nervously at her door. "Your planet is in grave danger. The Emperor has ordered the deployment of planet killers against Earth." Dr. Park's expression remained surprisingly calm. "We anticipated this. When will they arrive?" Hana was taken aback by his composure. "You anticipated? These weapons can destroy your entire world in minutes. We've been preparing since your first warning," Dr. Park explained. "How long do we have?" 3 days, Hana replied. "The ships are being prepared now. They will enter your solar system near your sun to mask their approach." Dr. Park nodded and made notes. "Thank you, Director. This information will save many lives." "You cannot stop these weapons," Hana insisted. "Your best option is to evacuate as many of your people as possible." "We have other plans," Dr. Park said, "but I cannot share them, even with you. For your own safety." Hana understood. If she were captured and questioned, any knowledge of human plans could be extracted. "I must go," she said. "I've risked too much already." "Director Hana," Dr. Park said before she could end the transmission, "whatever happens, know that you chose to stand on the right side of history. The human race will remember that." The screen went dark, leaving Hana alone with her thoughts and fears about what was to come. Meanwhile, on Earth, Dr. Park immediately reported to the Terran Defense Alliance headquarters beneath Mount Cheyenne. The underground complex buzzed with activity, as military personnel and scientists worked together in preparation for the coming attack. General Sunwoo listened intently as Dr. Park relayed the information from Hana. 3 days, the general repeated. "Can we be ready in time?" "The prototype is functioning," Dr. Park confirmed. "We need to mass-produce the units and train the teams." "Do it," ordered General Sunwoo. "I'll inform Captain Jin to begin Operation Trojan." In orbit around Earth's moon, Captain Jin received the encrypted message from Earth. He gathered his officers in the secure briefing room of the Retribution. "The Kildarians are sending planet killers," he announced. "We have 3 days to prepare our response." "Planet killers?" First Officer Yuna asked, her voice steady despite the grim news. "What is our defense plan?" Jin activated the holographic display, showing a detailed battle plan. "Operation Trojan. When the Kildarian fleet arrives, they'll find Earth apparently defenseless. They'll move into position to deploy their weapons." He zoomed in on the image of a Kildarian planet killer, a massive ship with a distinctive central energy core. "That's when we strike. Our fleet will be hidden behind Earth's moon. We don't try to destroy their ships. That would be impossible with our current weapons. Instead, we board them." Commander Hyun, the tactical officer, leaned forward. "Board them? With what force?" "With these," Jin said, changing the display to show a new type of combat armor. The Talon units. Each suit enhances strength, speed, and durability. They're equipped with advanced cutting tools that can breach Kildarian hull material. "How many do we have?" asked Hyun. 5,000 units will be ready by the time the Kildarians arrive, Jin replied. 500 elite soldiers for each, of their 10 planet killers. "And once we're aboard?" Yuna asked. Jin's expression hardened. "We take control of their ships. We use their weapons against them." The officers exchanged determined glances. The plan was daring, perhaps even suicidal, but it was their best hope. Begin preparations, Jin ordered. Train your teams. Memorize every detail of Kildarian ship layouts that we've been able to gather. When they arrive, we need to be perfect. As Earth prepared its desperate defense on Kildarian Prime, Commander June had his own plans in motion. He had secretly contacted officers in the Planet Killer fleet who shared his concerns about the Emperor's decisions. The coordinates are wrong, he explained to Captain Yunho, a longtime friend who commanded one of the Planet Killers. The approach vector will put you directly into a trap. How do you know this? Yunho asked over the secure channel. I have my sources, June replied carefully. The humans know you're coming. They're more prepared than the Emperor realizes. What would you have me do? Disobey direct orders? No, June said. Just be prepared. When the humans attack, and they will, don't react with maximum force immediately. Give them a chance to communicate. Yunho was silent for a moment. You're asking me to commit treason. I'm asking you to remember our core principles, June countered. The Emperor has abandoned them in his obsession with crushing the humans. We are better than this, Yunho. After a long pause, Yunho nodded. I'll do what I can, but I can only speak for my ship, not the others. That may be enough, June said. Thank you, old friend. 3 days later, the Kildarian Planet Killer fleet arrived at the edge of Earth's solar system. 10 massive ships, each capable of destroying an entire world, moved silently toward their target. Admiral Day, commanding the fleet from the lead ship, was surprised to detect no human vessels moving to intercept them. Scan the system, she ordered. Where is their fleet? No vessels detected, Admiral, reported her sensor officer. There are orbital stations around Earth, but they appear to be civilian structures. No weapons detected. Admiral Day frowned. This wasn't right. The humans had shown remarkable adaptability and courage in previous encounters. Why would they leave their homeworld undefended? Proceed with caution, she ordered. Maintain battle readiness. The fleet continued its approach, passing the orbit of Mars and moving toward Earth. Still no resistance appeared. Could they have fled? One of her officers suggested. Perhaps they evacuated when they learned of our approach. Impossible, Day replied. There's no way they could evacuate billions of people in 3 days. As the fleet reached the optimal position to deploy their planet-destroying weapons, Admiral Day hesitated. Something felt wrong. The humans had proven to be clever and unpredictable. This surrender seemed out of character. Admiral, her tactical officer called out suddenly, detecting multiple small objects launching from behind Earth's moon. Weapons? Day demanded. No energy signatures consistent with weapons, the officer reported, confused. They appear to be small vessels, hundreds of them. Admiral Day watched in confusion as swarms of small human craft emerged from hiding and headed straight for her fleet. Target and destroy them, she ordered. The Kildarian ships opened fire, but the human vessels were too small and too fast. They evaded the energy beams with surprising agility. Admiral, her security chief shouted, they're attaching themselves to our hulls. Day watched in horror as the small craft latched onto her ships like parasites. Then came reports from all 10 planet killers simultaneously. Hull breach in Section 7. Unknown forces boarding in the engine compartment. We've lost contact with decks 3 through 5. Within minutes, the situation had spiraled out of control. The humans, wearing advanced combat armor, cut through the Kildarian hulls and fought their way inside with shocking speed and coordination. Admiral Day realized too late what was happening. This was their plan all along, she whispered. They never intended to fight our ships, they meant to take them. From his position on the Retribution, Captain Jin watched as Operation Trojan unfolded exactly as planned. Commander Hyun led the Yao boarding parties, coordinating the simultaneous attack on all 10 planet killers. Status report, Jin demanded. Commander Hyun reports they've secured the engine rooms on 6 ships, First Officer Yuna reported. They're fighting their way to the bridge on the others. Jin nodded, his expression grim but determined. Tell them to hold nothing back. Those ships cannot be allowed to use their weapons against Earth. The battle for control of the Kildarian planet killers would determine the fate of humanity. And the tide was turning. On Kildarian Prime, Panic spread through the capital city. The unthinkable had happened. 10 planet killers, the Empire's most powerful weapons, had been captured by humans. Even worse, they were now heading toward Caldarian Prime itself. Emperor. Tarek stood in the Planetary Defense Center, surrounded by military officers who looked as frightened as he felt. "How long until they arrive?" he demanded. 6 hours, Your Majesty, the defense coordinator replied. "We've activated all planetary shields and weapon systems." "And will that stop them?" the Emperor asked. No one answered. The truth was clear. The planet's defenses had been designed to repel conventional attacks, not their own planet killers. In the Grand Meeting Hall, thousands of Caldarian citizens gathered to hear news of the approaching threat. Screens showed the 10 captured ships moving steadily toward their homeworld. Then the screens changed to show the face of a human. He wore a dark uniform with symbols of rank on the shoulders. "People of Caldarian Prime," Captain Suho said, speaking in perfect Caldarian. "I am Captain Suho of the Terran Defense Alliance. Your empire attacked our exploration vessel without provocation. You plan to destroy our planet and our entire species." He paused, letting his words sink in. "We now control your planet killers. We have the power to do to your world what you intended to do to ours." The crowd in the meeting hall broke into fearful murmurs. "But unlike your emperor," Suho continued, "we do not destroy entire species out of pride or fear. We offer you a choice. Surrender your empire and agree to join a new galactic organization based on cooperation and respect, or face the consequences of your emperor's decisions." He looked directly into the camera. "You have 1 hour to decide." In the Imperial Palace, chaos erupted. Some counselors advised immediate surrender. Others insisted on fighting to the last Caldarian. "We cannot bow to primitives," Emperor Tarek shouted, his pride still intact despite the dire situation. Commander June stepped forward. "Your Majesty, the humans have shown they are far from primitive. They have outmaneuvered us at every turn. We must accept reality." "Reality?" the Emperor snarled. "The reality is that I have ruled this empire for 200 years. We have dominated this galaxy for 10,000 years. I will not surrender to a species that only learned to fly beyond their atmosphere a century ago." Science Director Hana, who had been quietly listening, finally spoke. "That is precisely why they have defeated us, Your Majesty. In 1 century, they accomplished what took us 1,000 years. They adapt, they innovate, they work together in ways we never considered possible." The Emperor turned away, refusing to listen. In orbit around Caldarian Prime, Captain Suho waited on the bridge of the captured flagship. Beside him stood Commander Hyun, whose Talon unit troops had successfully taken control of all 10 planet killers. "Will they surrender?" Hyun asked. "I don't know," Suho admitted. "Their pride runs deep." The communications officer called out, "Captain, we're receiving a transmission from the surface. It's not from the Imperial Palace. It's from Admiral Dai." Suho raised an eyebrow in surprise. Admiral Day had escaped capture during the taking of the planet killers. "Put her through." Admiral Day's face appeared on the screen. She looked tired but determined. "Captain Suho," she said formally, "I wish to discuss terms of surrender." "Does the Emperor know you're contacting me?" Suho asked. Day's expression hardened. "The Emperor no longer speaks for all Caldarians. Many of us have seen the error of our ways. We wish to prevent further bloodshed." Suho considered this for a moment. "What do you propose?" "Allow me to come aboard and negotiate," Day requested. "I believe we can find a peaceful resolution." 20 minutes later, Admiral Day arrived on the captured flagship. She was escorted to the conference room where Captain Suho, Commander Hyun, and General Junho waited. "You could have destroyed us all," Day observed as she sat down. "Why didn't you?" "Because extinction isn't our way," General Junho replied. "Unlike your emperor, we listened to those who warned us about you. We learned your strengths and weaknesses. We prepared for this day while you dismissed us as irrelevant." "And now?" Day asked. "Now we offer a new beginning," Suho said. The Kildarian Empire will be dissolved. In its place, we propose forming the Galactic Cooperative with both humans and Kildarians as founding members. What about the other species the Empire has conquered? Day asked. They will be invited to join as equals, Suho explained. No more conquest, no more subjugation. Each species contributes what they do best for the benefit of all. Day nodded slowly. The Emperor will never agree to this. Then the Emperor will be removed from power, Junho said firmly. The people of Kildarian Prime have seen what happened. They know the truth now. 3 days later, Kildarian forces loyal to Admiral Day surrounded the Imperial Palace. Emperor Tarak, realizing he had lost the support of his people, surrendered without further bloodshed. The Kildarian planet killers were dismantled, their technology studied by both human and Kildarian scientists, working together to develop peaceful applications. 1 month after the surrender, representatives from 50 species gathered in the grand meeting hall of what had once been the Imperial Palace. Science Director Hana stood at the podium, addressing the diverse assembly. The Empire fell because it refused to adapt, she said. It saw difference as weakness rather than strength. The human victory wasn't just about superior tactics or technology. It was about understanding that diversity creates resilience. She gestured to Dr. Park, who stood beside her. They had worked together for weeks to draft the cooperative charter. Our friend Dr. Park helped me see that the exchange of ideas between different cultures and species creates innovations that none could develop alone, Hana continued. This is the foundation of our new galactic cooperative. Commander June, now representing the Kildarian people, stepped forward to join them. We ignored warnings about humans because they didn't fit our understanding of power, he said. We defined power as consistency, uniformity, and control. Humans showed us that true power comes from adaptation, cooperation, and learning from mistakes. Captain Suho rose to address the assembly next. When we first learned we were not alone in the universe, it was through an act of violence, he said. But today we begin a new chapter. Not as conquerors or the conquered, but as partners in exploration and discovery. The vote to ratify the cooperative charter was unanimous. As the ceremony concluded, Admiral Day approached Hana. You risked everything to warn the humans, she said quietly. Why? Hana smiled. Because I saw something in them worth saving, something worth learning from. And was it worth it? Day asked. Hana looked around at the gathering of different species, all talking freely and exchanging ideas. Bridges were being built where walls had once stood. Yes, she replied. The Empire as we knew it is extinct, but from its ashes something better has emerged. On Earth, billions of humans watched the ceremony through a live broadcast. Schools and businesses closed for the day to witness this historic moment. In town squares and living rooms, people cheered as the cooperative charter was signed. In the Oval Office of the White House, General Sunwoo stood with the president watching the ceremony. Do you think it will last? The president asked. This peace? Sunwoo considered the question. The Kildarians ruled for 10,000 years through force and fear. I believe we can build something stronger through cooperation and respect. And, if we encounter other empires out there? The president asked. Then we'll face them together, Sunwoo replied. As the cooperative. And they'd better heed the warnings about what happens when you underestimate humans. As the ceremony concluded, ships from a dozen species launched into space above Kildarian Prime. They flew in formation, no longer as enemies or competitors, but as partners in a new galactic community. The empire that had ignored warnings about humans hadn't faced physical extinction. Instead, its ideology of dominance and superiority had died, allowing something new and better to take its place. The stars had never seemed more full of promise.